So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today, welcome you back here at BSN Arc. This is the BSN Arc podcast here today. It is Monday, September 14th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday and had a good weekend. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well. It was an amazing weekend. As a matter of fact, the NFL was back on. College football is in full swing. NFL back on. We got to see the NFL play. We got to see a little bit of Clemson action, Florida State. All those good teams, Notre Dame. We got to see some of those big name teams finally play. In college football, Miami is finally ranked. That was another thing coming out of the weekend I was happy about. One thing that did make my weekend from here to a little bit down here was the New York Jets. The New York Jets absolutely stunk it up. One of the worst performances I've seen them play. It was horrible. Horrible. If you had to tell me pull a positive from this performance, I'm going to struggle on it. I will tell you that in a little bit. We'll run through all the games this weekend, tell you my game picks, tell you how I did. At the moment, I'm above 500. I'm going to tell you that. At the moment, I'm above 500. By the end, I'm just going to give you, it was an average week for game picks. There was a couple upsets. I did not expect the Colts to lose to the Jaguars. I did not expect the Eagles to lose to the Redskins. I did not expect a couple of those things to happen. I did not expect the Bears. I actually did not expect the Vikings to get as much blown out as they did. If the Vikings would have lost, I would have expected it would have been a close game. They did not lose. It was not a close game. They lost by 9, which is not a horrible far off game, but you also got to realize they let up 43 points, and I said that it was probably going to be a defensive battle because both those teams have good defenses. But anyway, that was another one I got wrong. I got a couple games wrong. That Bears-Lions game, I was going to predict the Bears. I literally predicted the Bears, and I looked at the numbers and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of forgot. Trubisky, not a great receiving core. Defense is on the field a ton, things like that. And I was like, the Lions actually were in most of their games last season. The Lions people were in most of their games. Every game last year, the Lions, you're talking about a team that only lost, I think they lost in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs last year. And I was like, this team has a lot of talent, just can't put it together. Last year, they had many one-score games last season that they just couldn't finish off. So I was like, Lions, they ended up losing that game as well. So there was many losses and stuff like that. But I will tell you this. If both my picks tonight are wrong, I'll be 500. So if both my picks tonight are wrong, I'll be sitting at 500. So to put that together, I'm above 500 at the moment. Let's just put it at that. Tonight's picks could either make my record look very good or make it look very bad. It's one or the other. So we have the NFL games, last the Jets and the Giants. I'll be running through the weekend in football. We got the all the NFL games. The Sunday night, the Saints-Buccaneers was a decent game for all the hype that it gave it. I don't think Brady played all that good. I think for all the hype that it got, I think that the Saints just absolutely whooped them. I don't think that the Buccaneers really stood a chance in that game. Buccaneers lost, Saints won. Jets got absolutely, utterly just atrocious. It was just atrocious yesterday. You talk about 2020, and you know how bad 2020's been. And everybody talks about how there hasn't been one thing that's been normal in 2020. Like, nothing's normal in 2020, they've been saying. The one thing that is normal is your same old Jets. Losing once again, it was horrible. I was sitting there yesterday watching that game. I was so close to just getting up because I was over somebody's house. I was so close to just getting up and leaving because I was just so done with how bad they were playing. Horrible performance. Horrible performance. Unbelievably bad. I'll talk about it in a little bit. Fantasy football results. We'll talk about the fantasy results. We'll talk about all that good stuff. And then we got the Yankees, Mets, Islanders, and college football games. So Tell you what, the Jets pushed me yesterday. The Yankees won. Yankees played well. I was enjoying it. I was watching the Jets game. I was tuning in to the Yankees game every once in a while. I mean, not on the TV. I was just, Googling the score and stuff. I did watch the Jets game because I wanted to see what the Jets were all about. I wanted to watch the game. I was also over a close friend of mine's house. I was over there. He's a big Bills fan, so I was there watching it with him. They were enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I love watching football, but I'm just saying, back to what I said when I was wanted to shut it off and just not have to suffer anymore. It was truly suffering. So we'll talk about all that coming up. But anyway, so with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So yesterday, football was finally back, and it looked good, sounded good. It was good. It was good, and I'm going to tell you this before I get into my Jets rant, before I get a little angry here on the podcast, Monday, September 14th. Before I get into all that stuff, I'm going to tell you the good stuff about NFL Sunday. It was a lot of fun watching the games again. I will tell you that for sure. Having footballs back is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you straight up, it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching the games. I think the games looked good. I think they sounded good. To be honest, I think overall, if you would tell me how the games went, I think overall this was a good Sunday of football. I think we can all kind of agree on. I think this was a good Sunday of football besides watching my horrible New York Jets. This was a good Sunday, I think. The game sounded good. They looked good. The camera angles were good. I know in college football, because they have the less camera crew because of the whole virus and you want to socially distance and stuff, some of the views of the field were odd because they were only either working 2-3 cameras or something. During regular games, you got so many cameras. You got 6 or 7 or even 8 cameras, right? And that's the same thing with, NFL. They might have less camera crew, but the cameras look good. Everything looked good. It sounded good. I think for the most part, it sounded pretty good. I think the Saints-Buccaneers game sounded the best. I think that's just because Fox is a very good network for sound and stuff. I think even when you're watching a game, it always seems louder on Fox, I feel like. I think the Fox did the best with pumping in the fake crowd noise. I think CBS did a decent job watching the Jets-Bills game. You could tell there was no fans there, but I think overall it was a pretty good. I was talking to somebody yesterday. It stinks that it only can get pumped up to 70 decimals. It's annoying because obviously with 70 decimals is not big. 70 decimals is very small. 70 decimals is small. Given that 70 decibels period is small. Not big. Some of these stadiums, they get up to 140 decibels. But I'm going to tell you this. Looks, sounds, camera angles, the overall play. Because I didn't just watch the Jets. I watched the Saints-Buccaneers. I watched a little bit of the Chargers-Bengals. Watched the Sunday night game. And obviously, on Thursday, we all probably saw the Chiefs-Texans game. Looks, sounds, good. I'm going to give the NFL an A here. An A. One thing that's probably holding me back, I don't really know what is holding me back. I guess just the no fans. I think the NFL, I think A+. I think the NFL did an excellent job. I think the NFL did an excellent job. I think it looked good, sounded good. And when I was sitting there watching the game, a lot of stuff leaves your head. When you're sitting there watching the game, you're focused on the game. You could kind of, I was kind of just zoned into the game. I thought I would be more focused on the point, there's no fans. You could clearly tell there's no fans. You're zoned in like that. You're focused on the game. I think it went well. And we'll get a true test on how the protocols work now that each of these teams have played against each other. Obviously, the Chiefs are doing well because the Chiefs, you get tested every single day except your game day. So the Chiefs have gone tested Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then today since they've played against the Texans. So the Chiefs have obviously, there's been no positive cases with them, nor have we heard anything with the Texans. So hopefully that can stay the same with all these other slated games. The NFL did bring out a warning today saying all coaches need to wear masks. They sent out a league-wide warning that this is a big warning. They need to wear masks. I know you probably saw some of I did as well. I know, for example, the Saints head coach was not wearing one. Sean McVay was not. He was wearing. They had him, but the Saints head coach, Sean Payton, he had it around his neck. He had the little, the Gator one where you just pull up. He had it around his neck. He wasn't wearing it, though. The only time he put it on, I saw in that Saints-Buccaneers game, was he went out to go handshake Bruce Arians, who was wearing it the whole game for the Buccaneers. Same thing with the Sean McVay. He had it on. He just had it, he had the ear thingies on. He just had it on down here. He pushed it off his face so they could talk. I understand. I don't like wearing a mask. But if it means in order to get an NFL season, if it means in order to keep it safe, you got to wear it. I'm sorry. It's just the world we live in now, I guess, that, it's the new normal. You have to wear a mask, you're just going to have to do it. So the NFL did send that out, but I think overall, players followed the rules. The players were wearing masks. I don't think there was many problems. I'm telling you the truth. Overall, NFL Sunday was a huge success for Week 1, and hopefully it can continue. Today we'll get a big tester. Today and tomorrow will be the big testers, because today will be the first day they get tested, because they get tested every single day except game days. So whether that's a Monday, a Thursday, or a Sunday, you don't get tested on game days. You get tested every single day, though. So today, for example, the Jets are getting tested. We'll see what happens with that. I'm sure it will come out and all that, the new testing results. And if one player gets it, then all of a sudden you got to find out all the other players he was in contact with, how long it turns in. Then you open up a can of worms. So with all that being said, let's review the games, because that was what we really wanted. I'm sure that's why a lot of you guys probably clicked onto this video. Let's go. So, Week 1, NFL season, my game picks, I'm going to tell you right now, I went 8-6 during this Week 1. 2 games still tonight. We have the New York Giants versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll preview that game in just a bit. Then we have the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos. I'll preview that game also in just a little bit. Overall, I think tonight, if I win both those games, I'm sitting at 10-6. If I lose one of those games, if I mess up both those games, I'm sitting at 8-8, 500 for Week 1 and 500 overall. That is not very good. 500 is not very good to start off your game picks. If I do both games and I finish 10-6, that's four picks above 500. I'm pretty solid with that. Obviously, Week 1, this is Week 1, and that's my overall, because obviously Week 1 is just Week 1. So that is obviously my overall. So I'll be fine at 10-6. If I'm 9-7 coming out of Week 1, I'll be okay with 9-7. Obviously, we get into the hundreds and the 90s and stuff when the season keeps on going with all of our game picks. We get into the hundreds and stuff on correct game picks and wrong. So we're just starting. So 9-7 wouldn't be horrible. I feel confident that I'm gonna be 9-7, at least 9-7. I don't believe I'm gonna mess up both picks tonight. I feel very confident with one pick, and the other pick I think could be a complete toss-up. But anyway. So 8-6 overall on the weekend. Got a couple of them correct, got a couple of them wrong. Overall, though, I feel like I did pretty well with the game picks. Nothing special. You're talking about 3-4 games that I just picked completely wrong. I could have very well gone. I could very well be sitting here 9-5, 10-4. Cowboys lost. Bears lost, or Lions lost, Eagles lost, teams like that lost, and, it stinks, because those are just some picks that I really believe I had secured down that just were not correct. So let's get into it. So I'm going to run through the Jets after I do the first league stuff, so I can run through the Jets later. But let's run through it. So the Rams topped the Cowboys 20-17. Rams played well. Their first 2 drives, they were driving. They missed the 1 field goal, and it was a 3-point game. I really believe that when I saw those first 2 drives, the way they were, and the Cowboys defense wasn't doing anything, I expected this game to be an absolute blowout. The way that beginning of that game was going, I expected it to be a blowout. But the Rams did come out on top. They won 20-17 against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys played good. Elliott got me some big fantasy points. They played well. Just could not finish it off in the long run. Then next up, we have the Saints-Buccaneers. Saints won 34-23. Brady, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, one being a pick 6 to Janoris Jenkins, the former New York Giant. Brady did not play well, period. Brady did not play well. Just questioning once again if this whole Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, whatever you want to call it, thing is really going to work out. I'm still questioning that. That's going to, in my opinion, that's still up in the air. I'm still questioning that. So, we'll see. But they did not look good. There's really no part of that game that really looked good. Had a couple nice plays here and there, but their defense was struggling and their offense was not very good. Saints won 34-23, got that pick correct. So at this moment, I'm sitting at 2-0. So I got the Rams pick I got wrong, and the Saints pick I got correct. Next up, this is another surprising one. This one, I forgot about this one. Cardinals-Niners. I thought the Niners were going to win this game. I mean, you're talking about a team that was 7 minutes away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs, and in 7 minutes the Kansas City Chiefs scored 3 times and ended up winning the Super Bowl. I mean, this was a Niners team that's almost the same exact roster as last year. And I've said this multiple times. I think the Niners are good. I don't think they're all that, though. The Niners do have to play the Jets, so the Niners will probably get their first win. Spoiler, you know who I'm picking for week 2, which I'll do my Friday picks, obviously, when Friday comes. Spoiler alert, I'm picking the Niners probably against the Jets week 2. Unless if some crazy injury happens to a star Niners player, which hopefully doesn't happen. You never like to see anybody get hurt. Obviously, Marlon Mack, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. He tore his Achilles in yesterday's game. In the first quarter, tore it. We were all sitting there at the game. We were all sitting there watching the game, and we were wondering why Marlon Mack wasn't in. It was the third string was in. We were all wondering. It was like, why isn't Marlon Mack? And why isn't Marlon Mack? And why isn't Marlon Mack? And all of a sudden, you get an update on my phone. Oh, Colts think Marlon Mack ruptured his Achilles. He's like, okay, that explains everything. So Cardinals won. And Murray to the DeAndre Hopkins was an excellent thing. I mean, it was awesome. DeAndre Hopkins to Kyler Murray was nasty yesterday. Kyler Murray had an amazing game. D-Hop, amazing game. Sadly, I was going against them in fantasy, so they put up big points. I was winning by like 30. Then DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray played, and all of a sudden I got absolutely whooped. I'm down by 23 right now, although I still have Roethlisberger and Juju Smith-Schuster playing tonight. So I just need them to get me 23 points, 22 to tie, 23 to win. So I would hope just to get to 23 and win it. So the Cardinals the Cardinals won that game, got that pick wrong, 24-20. Niners just came out flat on offense. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Bengals. This stinks for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he played well. I mean, he couldn't play much better. But it was a defensive game. Burrow played well, got pressured a couple times, but still played pretty well. Chargers was nothing stellar. Tyrod Taylor wasn't stellar. Keenan Allen wasn't stellar. Austin Eckler had a couple nice runs. There was a couple things here and there that were good for both teams. But in the long run, it came down to the final 2 plays of the game. And that was Burrow to A.J. Green in the end zone that got called back because of an offensive pass interference on A.J. Green. And then a 34-yard missed field goal by Bullock. That would have sent them into overtime. They ended up losing 16-13. And they lose. And Joe Burrow loses tough. But here's the one big thing. Sometimes those losses stink. They stink. Losing any game on a missed field goal, or even losing a game whether it's 1 point or whatever. Losing a game in general stinks. But when you have a quick turnaround, like they play Thursday night against the Browns, when you have a quick turnaround like that, you just got to play. You just got to take this game, take it out, don't even think about it. Sometimes you have a whole week to let it melt in your head almost, to let it just be in your head. You got to, Thursday night games, it's a quick turnaround, right? You got practice today, probably tomorrow. Wednesday might be a light practice, and then Thursday you play. Wednesday's probably a travel day, then Thursday you play. So, you got that's the problem with Thursday night games. That's why teams don't like it. They have about 2 days to really fully prepare. And then they're all of a sudden, especially if it's a road game, especially if you're on the road, because then that Wednesday is probably a travel day. You might show up to the facility early, do some walkthroughs in the morning, and then leave later, and obviously be there for Thursday night. But that's another thing too. The teams have to arrive with this whole virus situation. The teams have to arrive a day before, so they have to arrive. Some teams might come in early in the morning on the Thursday night games and play that. They have to arrive a day early, so that even makes the Thursday night games even harder. Because now you have to you practice pretty much Monday. You have practice today, practice tomorrow. Then Wednesday you're traveling, and Thursday is the game. So the Bengals have to just take this, remove it from their head. Because they have a chance of beating the Browns. The Browns looked horrendous against the Ravens yesterday in that 38-6 loss. Their offense looked horrendous. Mayfield looked horrendous. That team looked horrendous. Chargers won 16-13, got that pick correct. Bears-Lions 27-23. I mean, Trubisky looked horrible in the first half, looked pretty good in the second half. I mean, he didn't play anything. He wasn't spectacular, but he was pretty good. He got him the win, and that's all that matters. You get your team's wins, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you had a struggling game. If you get a win is a win, and a win is a win. I've always said this. A win is a win. It doesn't matter how you win the game. If you win the game by scoring, if you win the game 2-0 on a safety, it's no different than any of the other wins. A win is a win. On the score sheet, they're not going to be like, oh, win, but only by 2 points. No, it's going to be a W, a W, a W. It's spelt the same way if you win by 1 point, if you win by 30 points, or if you win by if you win by 1 point or you win by 30. A win is a win. So Trubisky was good, struggled a little bit in the first half, was better in the second half. Same thing with the Lions. They were decent in the first half, struggled in the second half. Kind of the opposite. DeAndre Swift dropped a wide open touchdown with 2 seconds left in the game. They threw it up to DeAndre Swift. He wide open in the end zone. Perfect throw by Matthew Stafford. DeAndre Swift, not really wide open. It was like that's a 5-yard line. He threw it to him. And DeAndre Swift had it. It's almost like he had it, but he turned around kind of too quickly in a way. Had it in his hands, just flew out. DeAndre Swift too. He's gonna be a good player, I think, for the Lions. He was their new running back they just got in the NFL draft, and I think he's gonna be good. One of his strengths is in the receiving game. He dropped that ball, which stinks for the Lions, and then obviously they try to chuck up a last-second heave. Double covered in the end zone, which ended up losing that game. So the Bears win and got that pick wrong. This one surprises me. I think out of all the games we saw yesterday, I think this one surprises me the most. When I saw the Eagles up 17-0, I was like, normal Redskins. They're not going to win. That was not the case. The Redskins scored 27 unanswered points, ended up beating the Eagles by 10, and the Eagles lose to what a lot of people think is the worst NFL team in the league. So do the Colts. They also lose to what a lot of people think could be either the second or the worst NFL team in the league. So the Eagles lose by 10. Redskins came back. You're talking about a team that went into halftime 17-0. At the point where you're thinking, okay, they score one more score, we're down 24-0, more than likely we're done. And they ended up losing that, and they ended up winning that game. They came back, stellar defense late. Chase Young had a couple big plays late. Your second pick in the draft. There was a couple nice throws by Haskins. The Redskins came out in the second half and looked like a team that could actually contend for the NFC East. They came out in the second half rumbling. I don't know what it was, what they did at the half, but whatever it was, it worked, and they got to continue to do it because they looked flat out embarrassing in the first half, and they came out in the second half and made the Eagles look flat out embarrassing. It's almost like the Redskins went to the Eagles locker room, the Eagles went to the Redskins locker room and kind of just switched a little bit, switched everything up, and the Eagles were really the Redskins in disguise. And then the Redskins turned into the Eagles. It was literally like it was a switch. Eagles looked very good in the first half, went into the locker room, came out, was horrible. Redskins looked horrible in the first half, went to the locker room, came out, was tremendous. Redskins win, got that one was wrong as well. The Packers also won 43-34 against the Vikings. A tough one to swallow for Vikings fans. They just couldn't find a way to win. They just were not able to find a way to win. The Vikings just struggled big time. Defense didn't play well. Offense was semi-decent. Adam Thielen had a good game, but other than that, the Packers found a way to win. Next up, we have the Seahawks and the Falcons. Seahawks. Jamal Adams had an amazing game for the Seahawks defense. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns, an amazing game. DK Metcalf, a couple nice plays. Chris Carson had an amazing game. The Seahawks overall just played dominant. They dominated this game. Seahawks won 38-25. Seahawks dominated. Next up, we have the Ravens and the Browns. There's something wrong with the Browns. The Browns are horrendous as well. The Browns are horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. 38-6. People say that they probably have one of the some of the best weapons in the league. David Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb. Some of these players on this team, Baker Mayfield, people think is still the real thing. Some of these players on this team are just, a lot of people think they're good. I think they have 2 average receivers. I don't think Beckham's all that. I don't think Landry's all that. I think Njoku's average as well. And I think Nick Chubb's above average. I think Chubb's a top 10 running back. I think Mayfield's meh. This is another roster. This is a roster, man, that just can't seem to get things going. You're telling me you come out there, and they missed a kick too. They lose 38-6. I understand they're playing the Ravens. I understand that. But you still can't get blown out 38-6. The Jets scored more points than you, and that's when you know things are bad. So the Browns lose. They just absolutely got crushed. And I said they were going to get crushed. I had the Ravens winning big. I don't know how in the world the point line was only 7.5. I had no clue. Whoever thought of that was not smart. I don't know why in the world you would say the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. 7.5, more like 14-21 point favorites. Raiders won against the Panthers 34-30. This was a close game. The Panthers fought hard. Teddy Bridgewater, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, they fought hard. They played really, really, really hard. They just couldn't pull it out late. Raiders won that game 34-30. Jaguars, Colts and Jaguars is another close game. I think the Jaguars, they've played well. Colts, they played very well. Both teams played well. At the end of the day, came down, I think, injuries, and that really hurt the Colts. They didn't have that big running game late in the game that they are used to having in Marlon Mack. He tore his Achilles. Jaguars take the win. They win 27-20. Got that pick wrong as well. Patriots beat the Dolphins. Cam Newton had 2 rushing touchdowns. Sony Michel added on, or I think Sony Michel. It was either Sony Michel or James White. Added on with the touchdown, 21-11. So the battle of week 1, who will win, Belichick or Brady? Belichick took the win. So far, Brady's 0-1 without Belichick, and Belichick's 1-0 without Brady. We'll see how that goes. Then, obviously, we've talked about so many times about this Chiefs-Texan game. So, Chiefs obviously won that game. Tonight's games are the Giants-Steelers. Steelers come in 5.5-point favorites, over under 45. Titans-Broncos over under 41. Titans are 3-point favorites. Okay. Before I preview those games, let's talk about the New York Jets. I actually think for podcast moving forward, I think I might actually talk about the Jets first and then move on. Although I can just go rant about the Jets all day. So, now time to talk about the New York Jets. We played atrocious football yesterday. It had to be, I think, if you were to tell me to rank it, we did not play well against the Ravens last year, although we did score 28-something points. But, those 28 points are garbage points at that point. When else have we not played? We haven't played well in many games. I mean, there's not many, but this was atrocious. I mean, this was horrible. And this is where it just gets me. To the point sometimes where I'm just so, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm just to the point now with the Jets, like I was with the Yankees a week ago, where it's almost the same every single year. It's the same exact thing. Same thing. Everybody's like, okay, we're going to be horrible this year, but, we might, we have a couple guys here and there. Let's watch. That's another thing I've heard. Like at least back then, at least, when the Jets were under Todd Bowles, at least the Jets were always playing hard. I feel like at this point, the Jets don't even play hard. I feel like we're not even playing hard. I feel like going into that locker room, we weren't even I don't even know where to start because there's so many bad things we did yesterday. There's so many bad things we did yesterday. Bad offense. Quarterback, Darnold, I'm sorry. I like Darnold and everything, but atrocious. He was horrible yesterday. I mean, he was horrible yesterday. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He missed 6 or 7 wide open receivers that could have very well went for over 15 yards. I mean, you're talking about a guy that he pretty much lost us that game. You want to know why? He connects on those 6-7 receivers. Those could have been 2 more scores. Because now you're driving down the field instead of your first 4 possessions having a total of 4 yards. 4 yards. We had 1 first down, I think, going into that third quarter. Or 1 first down, I think, that whole half until late in the half. I think we got another first down. We had 3 first downs going into the third quarter. And they had 20. That's another thing. The amount of 3 and outs we had. You can't expect that's why the Bears defense wasn't as good last year. They would come off the field, be all tired. Your offense goes out there, takes 40 seconds, and you're all of a sudden back on the field. The amount of 3 and outs we had was just horrible. That's another thing. They dominated the time with the ball because we got the ball for 40 seconds, and they, oh here, no, we got the. I think I was looking at something. I think they had the ball. The Bills had for 40 minutes yesterday out of a 60-minute game. That means we had the ball for about 20 minutes. That is horrible. That is horrible. The amount of 3 and outs we had. We got the ball, and we would have it for 30 seconds, and then defense is back out there on the field. It was horrible. It was horrible. It's the same thing as last year. Defense can only hold up so long. Then your offense has to connect. It's tough to win with 17 points. Tough to win with 17 points. Look at the Cowboys yesterday. They scored 17, and they barely lost, but they didn't even win. They scored, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was a close game, but even them, they didn't even win. It's tough to win with 17 points. It's not the easiest thing ever. Look at the Eagles. They couldn't hang on, and they had 17 points. It's tough to win with 17 points. It really is. Because that means your defense has to hold them from anywhere from 16 under, and that's about only like two scores. Can't allow them to score more than 2 times. That's you have to play solid defense, and they scored 2 times in the first quarter. Another thing I found out about the Jets was we found ourselves in a hole so early on in the game. We found ourselves going into the second quarter down 3 scores. Or 2 scores, I'm sorry. We found ourselves going in with 3 seconds left in the first half, down 21-0. Luckily, Sam Ficken hit a field goal and made it 21-3. We almost went into the half down 3 scores. We don't hit that field goal, we lose by 13 now. We lose 27-14. So, horrible. And Darnold did not play well. You talk about, everybody's talking about the third-year improvement, second year under the system. His footwork does not look good. The offensive line was decent. If you had to tell me, take a positive from the game, Marcus May and our offensive line. And Jamison Crowder played pretty well as well. Other than that, Darnold looked bad. Bell wasn't anything special. He got his hamstring. Or we weren't able to target as many receivers as we thought. Offensive line was good. Secondary was ferocious. Like, our secondary was horrible. In the defense, we got a Pierre Desir. Right? We were expecting probably to maybe he'll be like a starter. Maybe he would be like a solid number 2 corner. He got benched. And I don't know what in the world was the game plan. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, because Bless Austin had a very good year last year for being a 6th-round pick. You don't put Bless Austin on a league, on at times could be the league's top 5 receiver in Stephon Diggs, who has struggled yesterday, but still at 86 yards. And a couple mistakes by Josh Allen that he doesn't make, Diggs could have had a bigger game. Jets also weren't able to capitalize on the turnovers. We got those 2 fumbles. Guess how many points we got out of them? 3. You could have got 14 out of those 2 fumbles. Instead, we got 3. Those 2 missed kicks. They had? 7. Pretty sure, right? I think 7. Yeah, 7. Because it was the Jamison Crowder 69-yard touchdown. Then Josh Adams punched it in with 1 minute left in the game for a garbage score. Not garbage score, meaning like it meant absolutely nothing. So, out of the 4 major miscues they had, we scored a total of 10 points. The 2 missed field goals and the 2 turnovers out of the 4 major miscues the Bills had. Because they made mistakes. They weren't perfect. The Bills weren't perfect. They were far from it. The Bills played an ugly football game. Out of those 4 big mistakes, we scored a total of 10 points. When we could have, let's just say those 4 mistakes, we could have easily scored 28. You score all those touchdowns. We scored a total of 10 points on those 4 mistakes. 3 on the turnovers. You can't score 3 points on 2 turnovers. When you get 2 fumbles like that, especially early in the game, new defense, Marcus May punching out, Bradley McDougall, our new safety, getting the ball. You think the momentum would be rocking, and then you just show up and play like that? It's horrible. The Jets played horrible. And I'm done with all this Adam Gase stuff about, I'm mad that I put him back in with his hamstring. No. Just stop it. If you're walking, you pull a hamstring, it's nobody's fault. Then you know what would happen? If you didn't put in Bell, then there would have been a problem. The Jets played horrible. And that is all I could really say. So the Jets lose by 10. We've got to seriously get our act together because we play the Niners. I know they're 0-1, but Joey Nick Bosa and that secondary and that defense and that offensive running game, yeah, we've got to be ready. I'm not kidding. We have to be ready. or that game could turn ugly fast. And if we lost to the Bills and maybe we have a team like the Browns coming up week 2, I'd be like, okay, that would be a good game to bounce back. But you have a team like the Niners, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh gosh, I don't think all the Niners are all that great. I think a lot of people think the Niners are one of the best teams in the league. I don't think that. I think they're a top 5 team. I think they're number 5, but still, that defense is nasty. Jets are going to have to be ready. And whatever we're going to have to do something different than what we did yesterday. Because obviously yesterday's game plan wasn't working. And Darnold missed good 6-7 receivers. And there was also a couple wide open net drop passes happened 3-4 times. So our offense just wasn't clicking. We lost by 10. Horrible. I mean, I expected this game to be close. I think I predicted the score to be like... Actually, I could probably look back and see what I predicted the score to be. I thought I had the game being decently close. I don't think it was going to be... I mean, it wasn't horribly close, but I mean, we technically lost by 17 because that late game touchdown didn't really do much to us. I mean, yeah, it boosted... it padded his stats a little bit, but I don't think it really made much of a difference. You know, we would have lost. It was the matter of either you lose by 10 or you lose by 17, you know? So let's see. I had the Bills winning 21-17. So I had it being like a 4-point game. Instead, we get this nightmare performance out of the Jets. Atrocious performance. So, anyway, hopefully your NFL team did better than mine. I'm used to it. I always say it, whenever the Jets win, it surprises me pretty much. It surprises me when the Jets win. There's a couple times where I'll be a little surprised if the Jets lose, but that's very rare. Every season as a Jets fan, you just have to hope that you win one game. That's really how it is. So the Giants and the Steelers play tonight. Titans play tonight as well. Giants are home. Broncos are home. We'll preview the Giants game right after we do the Titans. So the Titans play the Broncos. The Titans are 3-point favorites against the Denver Broncos. I have the Titans winning this game. It's going to be a close game. The over-under is 41. Let me see. I already made my score prediction for this game. I think I have it being very, very close. I think it's 28-23. I have it 28-23. So that is... So that's actually 51. So, yes, I technically have the over-under. So I take the over on the over-under. I have the Titans winning 28-23. I think it will be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to maybe the final drive of the game. I was going to take the Broncos, but, Titans with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is questionable, or with the Dory Jackson out. A couple players like that who are out. There's still, you still have Derrick Henry, you still have Tannehill, you still have A.J. Brown, you still have a couple good players here and there. I know Dory Jackson's going to make a big difference, but here's the problem. Jerry Jeudy's not in, so that's one less receiver you have to really worry about. Cortland Sutton's questionable. KJ Hamler questionable. Von Miller, Barron's out. Jeudy looks like he'll be out as well. So I think he'll be out. I think Judy's going to be out. I'm not sure, though. But the Titans are 3-point favorites. I give the Titans the win. I think they win by 5, 28-23. I take the over on the over-under of 41. I take the over there. Now we to move into the Giants and the Steelers. Giants-Steelers. There is a big player, DeCastro, who's on the Steelers. That's a big part of their offensive line. He is out tonight, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Steelers are 5.5-point favorites against the Giants. The over-under is 45. Here are some of the questionables for the Giants. It's Golden Tate, Toilolo, and Crowder. Tay Crowder, who's the linebacker out of Georgia, Mr. Irrelevant, I think actually was him. Then Golden Tate, Tate's out. Tate's questionable. Golden Tate's questionable. DeCastro is out. That you got to watch out. Just because he's probably one of your top offensive linemen for the Steelers. You just have to watch out. Make sure that whoever the guard is and replacing him is good. Luckily, you're not playing against a great defensive line in the New York Giants. Overall, not a great defense. The Giants come into this game. Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, players like that come in. Barkley, Evan Ingram, your defense, Logan Ryan, Blake Martinez, a couple guys here and there. I personally think, I'm going to make you my game pick, I think the Steelers win this game. And I think the Steelers win this game. And I'm going to simply tell you why. I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a decent game. It's not going to be anything special, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns and an interception. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have an okay game, maybe a touchdown like 40, 50 yards. And I think that the Steelers' defense is really what's the problem here. The Giants' offense is nothing overpowering. It's okay, but the Steelers' defense is probably top 5 in the league. T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Bud Dupree. I mean, it's nasty. To it, James Harrison, right? I think, or no, he retired. Guy just signed a contract extension. I forget his name. Oh, Cam Hayward. It is nasty. Their defense is nasty. Very good. So you just have to watch out for that. And as for the Giants' offensive line, their offensive line's not great. I feel like Daniel Jones might be pressured a lot today. We'll really get to see what Andrew Thomas is all about. That's next week too for Mekhi Becton. He faced Jerry Hughes this week, played pretty well. He had that one penalty and he allowed a little sack, but other than that, he played pretty well. Next week, he'll be a big test as he plays Bosa, who a lot of people think is the best defensive end in the league. So today, we'll really get a taste of what Andrew Thomas can do. I have the Steelers winning this game, though. I know that might surprise some of you, but I do have the Steelers winning this game 35-17. I just don't foresee the Giants winning 35-17. I take the over, right? The over, or actually, I take the under. Because 7, that's 12, 3, 4. No, actually, I take the over. I take the over on the over-under. I take the over of 45. I take the over there. Hold up 1 second. Let me just go to the calculator really quickly just to make sure that I take the over. So 20. Yes, I take the over on the first game. And in this game as well, I take the over. I have it at 52. So I think the over-under, I take the over here. I think the Steelers win 35-17. I think the Steelers easily cover. I think they win by like 18 here. I think they win good amount. I think the Steelers win against the Giants. Giants defense is not going to be able to enough for an Steelers offense. But anyway, Steelers-Giants should be interesting. I don't like the Steelers, but I think at the end of the day, I think the Steelers are the right game pick. So I think the Titans win, and I think the Steelers win for the Monday night games. Tomorrow we'll talk about those games as well. Then I'll tell you my final record for the week. It's either going to be 10-6, 9-7, or 8-8. It's going to be one or the other, right? Yeah, because it's either going to be 8-8, it's either going to be 10-6, 8-8, or 9-7. I'm hoping that's 10-6 to obviously give me the best record. So with all that being said, now we move into fantasy. So I lost more than likely in my one league. So my league that I'm actually feel like I'm pretty good in, I lost, but it doesn't help that Keenan Allen only had 3 points. Tyreek Hill had 10, Kenyon Drake had 12, Marvin Jones had 5, Ertz had 7, T.Y. Hilton had 5. I still got Steelers defense going tonight, and I got Barkley. So I'm projected to lose. I'm losing right now 125-73, and he still got, my opponent still has Shepard to go, Sterling Shepard. So the only way I win this game is I'm going to need, like, Elliott to put up, like, here's the problem, because I have Steelers defense in. If Elliott puts up, like, 30, that's going to hurt Steelers defense. And I'm going to need Steelers defense to give me, like, 20 and Elliott to give me, like, 30. I'm down at the moment by like 52. So I need, like, a 30-point game out of Elliott and somehow, some way, like a 20-point game out of Steelers defense. Somehow, some way. Which probably won't happen. And I need Sterling Shepard to not do anything. My other league, I still have a chance. I'm losing. I have a very good chance. I'm projected to win by 10. My other league, I'm losing right now 129.2 to 107.9. I have Ben Roethlisberger still to go, and I still have Juju Smith-Schuster still to go. So I'm projected to win. Hopefully, I do pull it out. I'm projected to win. Kittle struggled. Elliott played well. Carson played well. Adams played well. Gurley played well. Bills defense played well. And Harrison Butker played well. My bench was A couple players on my team. There's a couple players out there that definitely could be traded for me. I'll probably make some trades maybe later, not later tonight, but I'll definitely look around. After week 1, you start to get a good deal. You guys start to get a good idea. Like Allen Robinson at 7, DJ Moore at 5. Robert Woods at 11. I'm probably gonna keep Robert Woods. Something like that. But it's not going to be interesting. So with all that being said, fantasy was decent this week. I'm more than likely going to be 0-1 in the one league, and hopefully, I get, the win in my other league. Because this league, I still believe I have it. I could still win. I still believe. Okay. I still believe in the one league I'm just talking about. I still believe I can win. It's just I need Roethlisberger. I need literally Roethlisberger to give me 20 points, and I literally need Roethlisberger to give me just at least like 20 points, and that's not that hard for a quarterback. 20 points, which actually wouldn't be amazing. Just 20 points and Schuster to give me like 3. Here's the one problem though, and this is what I was thinking. What if I'm winning by 2 and Roethlisberger throws a pick? That's why I was hoping when I was winning by 30, I was thinking if Roethlisberger, let's just say I'm winning by 5. If I was winning by 5 going into this game, I might actually would have benched Roethlisberger. Here's my reasoning. Actually, I don't know if I would bench him, but here's the problem. What if I'm winning by 2, he throws a pick, and all of a sudden you're back down to a tie game? That's why I'm hoping that Roethlisberger plays well, and so does Juju. I feel more confident with Juju playing well. I think Juju's a good receiver. So with all that being said, though, it was a decent week in fantasy. I don't think I did anything special. My other league, I did. Actually, this league, I think I do well. I mean, I could very well hit 140 this league. I could very well hit 150 still. If Roethlisberger puts up 30, I could very well hit 150. Now, I probably will hit around. I'm pretty projecting myself to probably win. I'm probably going to get in the range of 135, I think, somewhere around there. I think it'll be a decent game. So anyway, now we move into the Yankees, Mets, Islanders, and the college football game. So the Yankees won their game yesterday. Big double by Gleyber Torres. They actually swept the Orioles. They play tomorrow 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They won yesterday 3-1. Yankees 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Orioles 1 hit, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. Yankees, LeMahieu 1 for 4, Voit 0 for 4, Hicks 1 for 4 with a run scored, Frazier 2 for 4 with a run scored, Andujar 2 for 3, Gardner 0 for 0, Torres 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs, Talkman 0 for 0 for 3, Sanchez went 0 for 3 with a walk, Higashioka 0 for 2, Ford 0 for 1, Kratz 0 for 0, Estrada 0 for 3, Wade 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. J-Happ, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Ottavino, 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Holder, 1/3, no hits, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. 1 inning. Chad Holder, that was Chad Green pitched 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Britton, 1 inning, no hits, no walks, no hits, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Chapman, 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Yankees win. They're 26-21 now in the season. They play tomorrow against the Toronto Blue Jays for a big series at home, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll preview that game. Then, that'll be the final off day of the season, I think they were saying. So now the Mets, they played yesterday. They'll also play tomorrow. They lost yesterday 7-3. They moved to 21-26 on the season. To the Blue Jays, they lost. They had 3 runs, 12 hits, 1 error. Toronto had 7 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. The Mets, McNeil went 1 for 2 with a run scored. Guillermo went 0 for 2 with a walk. J.D. Davis 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk. Conforto 2 for 5 with a run scored. Todd Frazier went 2 for 4 with a RBI. Don Smith 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Alonso 1 for 4. Rosario 1 for 3. Cano 0 for 1. Nimmo 2 for 4. Torino's 0 for 3 and Jimenez 0 for 1. Peterson pitched 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Brad Bach, no innings, no hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, no strikeouts. He couldn't record it out there. Hughes, 1 inning, 3 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Ramirez, 2 innings, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Mets lose 7 to 3. I had 12 hits and I still couldn't come out there. Alrighty, so now we move to the Islanders, and the Islanders lost. They lost 4-1. I predicted the Islanders to win, especially after they're playing. So they're down 3-1 in the series. They lost 4-1. They now have to come back from a 3-1 deficit, so it's going to be difficult for them. But they got to come back now and try and win. They did not play very well. They have not played very well this whole series. Sometimes it just starts to wear down. Some of these players might be tired and stuff. They just try to grind it out here. The college football games went well this week. I got a couple predictions wrong. I actually tell you that for sure. I shouldn't be talking about that. I actually did struggle a little bit. Let's go. So I was 7-1 going into this week. So now I'm Lafayette beat Iowa State. I'm 7-2. West Virginia beat Eastern Kentucky. 8-2. North Carolina over Syracuse. 9-2. Arkansas State over Kansas State. I'm 9-3 there. App State beat Charlotte. I'm 10-3. Army versus LA Monroe. I'm 11-3. Duke Notre Dame. I got that one correct. Notre Dame won. I'm 13-3. Georgia Southern and Campbell I got predicted Georgia Southern. I'm 13-3. 12-3, 13-3, right? UTSA beat Texas State, 13-4. Georgia Tech beat Florida State, 13-5. Pittsburgh beat Austin Peay, 14-5. Oklahoma over Missouri State, 16-5. South Florida over the Citadel, 17-5. Clemson over Wake Forest, 18-5. Tulane over South Alabama, had that game, 19-5. Louisville over Western Kentucky, 20-5. Texas over UTEP, 21-5. Texas Tech over HBU, 22-5. And then Coastal Carolina over Kansas, 22-6. So I'm 22-6 on my college game picks. So I feel pretty confident. 22-6 on my college game picks. I actually should probably put that in there. I'm going to just put this in here because I have a whole list for the NFL, but the college as well. CFB game picks. So what did I do? Week 1, I went 7-1. So week 1, I think I went, no. Overall right now I'm 22-6. Week 1, which was 2 weeks ago, I think I went 7-1. No, or is that week 2? I don't know, 7-1. Then this week, week 2, I went 7-1, that's 8. I got 14-5. 14-5 week 2. And then week 3, I'm 0-0 at the moment. 0-0 at the moment. So overall on my college game picks, I'm 22-6. So I'm doing pretty well for my college game picks. Definitely very well. So, I mean, in 2 weeks, I have the same amount of losses I do in 1 week for the NFL. So, anyway, so college game picks, I'm 22-6 overall there. NFL 8-6 so far. So, I'm pretty good. I'm doing pretty good on my game picks. So, alrighty. So, I noticed something in the Yankees game, and I wanted just to point this out. Yankees once again win without 10 hits. They only had 8. It's interesting. Yankees are finding ways to win, man. They're finding ways to win even without these big number hit games. That's really what the big thing is. And they're finding ways to win. And tomorrow they play again. Against Toronto Blue Jays, today's probably their final off day of the season, and it's the grind towards the playoffs. So Yankees, this is an important series against the Blue Jays. Very important. We beat the Blue Jays. We have a shot still to finish second place. I don't know about winning the division, but still to win second place. We lose this series, we'll be third and probably not get great playoff position, but it's what it is. Yankees are playing well, Jets not so much, Mets either, and the college football, Miami played well. Miami has a big game coming up, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday night. ESPN ESPN against the Louisville Cardinals. Should be a lot of fun to watch that. Jets obviously play next Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a lot of fun to watch that. Jets are bad. Jets played atrocious. Yankees obviously are able to get wins. The Giants should be interesting to watch tonight, see what all happens with that game. So with all that being said, hopefully you enjoyed it. Football Sunday. Feels great to have football back and watch it. A lot of fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.